Good morning, all. I don't have a long intro, even though I am meaning to get an intro. I don't have one. All I can do is tell you that I'm Sister Danny, and I'm coming with second training. Forgive me for my tardiness. Like I say again, the enemy was so busy. This morning, got up, had a couple of situations happen to me this morning, one of which was taking of my keys. I could not find my keys this morning to save my life. But it kind of aligns itself, what I went through this morning, with what God has given me to give you all very, very brief. In the spirit of what Apostle had said, I don't know, maybe a few training sessions ago, talking about how she was reiterating the fact, basically, that she felt like God was not speaking to her. Or if God was speaking, she could not hear him. And she got the revelation, she got the understanding that it's not that God is not speaking. Sometimes it's just we have not really observed past words, past sayings, past lessons, and we haven't applied those. So we really can't be overwhelmed with something new if we had not applied successfully what he has already spoken. So in the spirit of that, he allowed me to go back to this. And whenever she was talking, I don't know if you all know about this, but I am a big, humongous battle rap fan. And it's not for everybody, but a lot of terms they say, I pick up on, and I use them in my everyday language, everyday conversation. And one of the terms that I learned from my research is spinning the block. Now, in battle rap, it means that if they go out and they go and commit a crime, if there's any witnesses left, they have to spin the block and kill the witnesses, basically. But what I took it to mean is you can't go forward without applying what has already been given. So what God is wanting me to do now is to spiritually spin the block. And whenever I thought about that, I thought about the song, Take Me Back. Take me back, dear Lord, to the place where I first received you. And the last part of it is where I first believed. And I think a lot of times the reason why we can't apply what has been given to us, what has been spoken, what has been said, because of the way we received it and how we did not receive it in the way that we were supposed to properly receive it. And I believe what's missing a lot in our reception, because reception is not just being here. Reception is just not sitting there where you're at. Reception is a mind frame or a state of being. I'm missing now the zeal that I once had in my reception. I'm missing the zeal in my belief. And what zeal means, or to be zealous, is to have great energy or enthusiasm in pursuit of a cause or an objective. So if I've lost my enthusiasm, I've lost my energy to receive. But most of all, I believe it's because we've not taken sight on what the cause and the objective is. And my objective is to believe to life. Not to believe to die. Not to believe to struggle. Not to believe because I feel like there's no help for me, there's no hope in sight. Not to believe because I'm depressed or I'm in my hole, I can't see a way out, but I believe to live. I believe to life. So Lord, take me back to that zeal whenever you're giving the things that you're giving to me, that I don't ever become in a state where I feel like you're not speaking because you've already spoken. I feel like I'm not hearing you because you've already given me the keys that I need. It's just the reception or how I received was not there. And so whenever he told me that, I was thinking about, I was like, well, a lot of times I heard in the church, we can't really do things like that in religion and tradition, because it says that the seed then, or the bread that was once given to us, is stale bread. And that we can't go off of stale bread because it was for that time, it was for that season. But what God gave me for that is the bread that he's given to us now, the bread of life, the bread of change, is something similar to the anointing that the children of Israel had on their clothing. And you know, in the wilderness, they didn't have seamstresses. They wasn't making new clothes. They wasn't making new shoes. They wasn't making new garments. But what happened was God allowed the clothing and the garments and the shoes and everything that covered them to stretch while they grew. So he said, this bread now, it doesn't get stale, but it matures as we stretch. The bread that he's given unto us, I can't just not receive it because it was given to me 2 weeks ago. I can't receive it because it was given to me a month ago, because as it was potent last month, it is still has the strength that it needs for this time right here. And it's only maturing me as I stretch. And it's most beneficial through and for my change. I want to speak on conversations with Cheryl. Cheryl is the apostle of this house, but Cheryl is also my mother. And I get so much from my conversations with, okay, I'm not going to call Cheryl anymore, that's how she looked at me, but at the end of the day, that's her name. And that's how God gave it to me. I get so much truth, so much knowledge, so many jewels whenever I am speaking with my mother. And as we were conversing, the many times that we spoke on last week, she kept on talking about the mind and the different aspects and the variables of the mind. And at this time, I do want to plug our book written by Dr. Antonio Hurt. The center copy is $10, but I believe if you go on Amazon, is it $15? Oh, I don't know. Well, you have to research the price on Amazon, or you can contact us directly. We have our information. It's a great book. Great book to get your mind right. But as I was speaking with Apostle, that's what she was telling me about the different variables that are related to the mind. And I'm pretty sure she's going to touch on it, so I'm not going to go into detail, but I did want to touch on that part of it. But how do we get our mind right? It only comes with the understanding of who I am. So how do I experience this? Going back to spinning the block, I have to recover all. It's through recovery and discovery. Discovery, by definition, means to become aware of a fact or a situation. A fact, I love the way they said fact, because in a fact, it can be proven by evidence, by law. It's just not a theory. It's something that is actual and it's something that is sound. Recovery, it is the action or process of regaining possession or control of something stolen or lost. Whenever God gave this to me, and I'm almost done, a lot of times after discovery and recovery, because of what we've discovered, because of what we have seen and what we've noticed and what we factually understand about ourselves, we don't go to the next step of recovery in regard of getting our possessions back, getting us back, getting our souls back. We go in the process of recovering, meaning covering up what I found out about myself because it's so ugly maybe, or it's so nasty, or it's so depressing, or it's so vile, or it's so shameful, or so embarrassing, or whatever emotion that the enemy tries to implant in me so that I can't move forward. So I can't go into recovery because the enemy knows after recovery, you are bad. When I say bad, I'm talking about you can take the world. Whenever I say bad, it means that you can conquer anything that comes at you, whatever life throws at you, whatever God ordains for you to go through, whatever he permits, whatever he allows. In recovery, you can go and do just that. So a lot of times we don't do what we're supposed to do because after awareness comes, it is a bearing thing for us. Whenever I say bear, it uncovers a lot of stuff for us. It's raw and it's real. And it's even jarring, meaning it knocks us off balance. It takes us out of our stability, even though these are the tools in discovery and recovery that it takes in order for us to gain the balance and to gain the stability. But the appropriate action is step 6. And step 6 of consecration is praying. Whenever you look at consecration, you see that the title for that is praying is foundational, meaning that is the ground in which is fertile for me to grow and go forward. That is what it begins with, what it starts with, and if it's foundational, it's going to end in that as well. Then he took me to David. Whenever he was talking about recovering all, we all know the story of David. I do not have to go into detail about that. Whenever the Amalekites came and took the entire village, I'm talking about pillaged the whole village, took people, took possessions and everything. David inquired of the Lord. This was David's prayer to God. He said, Lord, shall I pursue? Will I be victorious? And that's what I believe God is giving me to give to myself, and not only to myself, but to you all as well. In discovery, we ask God, shall I pursue? And will I be victorious in my discovery? And God told him, he said, most assuredly, go ahead and pursue, because victory is sure and recovery is without fail. So in my pursuit of who I am, what I've lost, and whenever I'm speaking of this, I'm not talking about worldly possessions. I'm talking about the essence of who I am, the essence of who you are. The conversation that I had with Apostle, took my mind to a lot of things within myself that I still struggle with today, because from my youth, as it was so previously stated, this is all I've known. And a lot of what I've known, been brought up in, bred in, is religion and tradition. And we were having a conversation. I had likened it to a proverb, I think, or it was a story. And it was speaking of this elephant. And for a long time, from the baby elephant to now an adult elephant, the elephant had been chained by its foot to a tree all of his life. And one day, finally, the people who owned the habitat had unchained the elephant from the tree. And the elephant, because it had been trained, or it had been taught that this is where you stay, you don't go any further past this. This is where you roam. You can't go out of this particular area, because that had been instilled and embedded in him or her. The elephant, even after being free, did not move away from where it was. It didn't go out of the element. It didn't go out of the Roman circle. It didn't go and explore the other parts of the habitat. It didn't go and see what it could see. It didn't go and try and possess any other place in the habitat, because it had been trained and locked in for so long. And so I was like, I feel like the elephant, even though I've been made free, even though I do a little bit just to really explore, really to get to know who I am, to discover who I am, so I can recover from religion, so I can recover from tradition, so I can recover from judgment, from guilt, from shame, from hurt, all the things that come and tie in with religion and tradition. I know not how to do. I mean, I know how to do it, but I can't grasp the permission that I have in order to execute what I know to do. But in discovery, not getting possessions, not getting materialistic things, but getting a knowledge of who you are, what God has made you, the will that God has for your life, the plan that God has for your life, that you can execute it. And you can do it without judgment. You can do it without condemnation. You can do it without guilt. You can do it without shame, because you understand this, that God told you to pursue it. God told you to go. God told you to do it. And in it, he has already given you the victory. If he told you to do it, your victory is nigh. And then in that, you'll be able to recover. And recovery brings stability, and it brings balance. It also brings me to this one last point I have, and I'm going to have my seat. It's coming from Psalms 143 and 10. And it says, teach me to do thy will, for thou art my God. Thy spirit is good. Lead me into the land of uprightness. And basically what that is stating is, if we let God, with his good spirit, not that we understand what good is, but this goodness is a level of goodness that surpasses anything that we can denote as good. Because with our limited mind, what's good to me may not be good to you. But this is a good that's not subject to a finite mind, but is to the infinite goodness of God, which is the love of God. So if we allow the love of God and his goodness with that spirit to lead me and to guide me, to lead you and guide you, then you can get to, and I can get to, a level of righteousness that's only located on level ground. And that's so important, because a lot of times we go through things that take our mind this place, take our mind that place. It takes our mind into a place where we're not stable. It takes our mind to a place where we're up and down. One minute we're good, the next minute we're not. I'm happy because of what happens, but if something else happens, I can't retain the joy that I'm supposed to have. And it's okay. It's okay, because at the end of the day, there's help, there's healing, there's discovery, and there's recovery. So it's okay to go in these places where we feel like, okay, I can't do it. Because whenever we get to a place, Apostle says this, when you hit rock bottom, or you hit the level in which you can't go any further, there's always up. You can always look up and you can live. You can always look up and you can be healed. You can always look up and get to that level ground, in God, that we obtain the stability and balance that we need to be centered within ourselves and centered in him. So I admonish you on today to go back, even though that was when we discussed here at the center, Recovery and Discovery was in 2017. And it's still anointed from 2017 to 2019, because I understand this just from what I went through on this morning. And it's not just about my keys, it's about other things. The enemy really does desire to sift us as wheat. He desires to take us out of the natural stability that we're supposed to have as believers. But the greatest of that is Jesus prayed for us. And in his prayer, he prayed that our faith would not fail us. And in our faith is what we need for the stability that we need to recover after we've discovered everything that we've discovered about ourselves. So, with that being said, God bless you. I pray something that was said to you, because it really helped me. Just like I recovered my keys this morning, I can recover myself. So, with everything that's said, I hope that you all were blessed, and also get your mind right. Read it, study it, digest it, reread it if you have to. Go back and do some meditation on this, because this really will take you to a place, I believe, that will bring you to level ground from the good spirit of God. God bless you.